he would be truly humble under God. That's what thug means.
Well, truly humble under God. I think that's fantastic. What are we even doing here?
Well, with respect to
What's the basic objection?
first time.
I'm an overrule the objection.
What's your objection? So when you have an objection, you state it fast. You don't have time to...
It's around the globe. It's called pushing P. And it's positivity.
Who fucking believes that? Pushing P? Pushing positivity? These are choir boys.
There's nothing wrong with holding up a blood sign, but...
So there's nothing wrong with holding up a fucking blood sign when you're in a gang case? You fucking all they want to do is be humble under God. I mean, who believes that? I don't fucking believe that, to you. Especially when you look at their lyrics. And guess what's coming in? The fucking lyrics. The lyrics to their song are coming in. And they don't say in their lyrics, I'm humble under God as I wear my Yves Saint Laurent. They're not saying that. They say some pretty fucking gangster shit. When you stretch credulity, you lose credibility with the jury.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Board-certified by the National Board of Trial Advocacy and by the Minnesota State Bar Association as a criminal trial specialist and a criminal law specialist. Today, we're accompanied by our content genius, and I've got my pearl handle pistol cufflinks. What does that mean? That means we are ready to dive into the YSL trial. So, the YSL trial has been going on for a long-ass time. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. For example, if you have a power of attorney that you need signed right away, or if you have a retainer agreement or a business agreement, any kind of agreement that you need signed right away, use eSign.com. You download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month. It's an effective way to get that business done quickly. If it's not eSign, no one signs. So use eSign.com. The YSL case is a Rico case. It stands for Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations. And so what does that mean? What do they have to prove? I got it right here, my grimy little meat hooks. In order to prove the existence of a Rico case, the state has got to prove a pattern of criminal activity. So there are many crimes that can be used to do that. I'm going to give you kind of a laundry list here real quick. So drug offenses, homicide, bodily injury, like assaults, arson, burglary, forgery, theft, robbery, prostitution, and pandering. I don't know about pandering. But distributing obscene materials, bribery, witness tampering, perjury, evidence tampering, commercial gambling, distilling liquors and alcoholic beverages. Obviously, that was like during probation. Firearm violations, securities violations, credit card fraud, computer crimes, kidnapping, carjacking, and making terroristic threats. So these are the kinds of, and that's not an exhaustive list. There's other things too that could be used. But it is insufficient, though, if you just show 2 isolated incidents. That won't be enough to show a pattern. Acts that were not in furtherance of a scheme should not be considered as predicate acts. I have one of these right now in Minnesota. But it's a federal case, and federal is different. In the Georgia statute, they don't have to prove the existence of an organization. They just have to show a pattern of conduct, and these people are basically working together. Let's just kind of recap where we're at. About a year ago, they started jury selection. I just can't believe that this has taken a year long, a whole flipping year. That just goes to show you how publicized and notorious this case is. But this case has not been without its controversies, especially in the last 4 days. So we're going to get to that. But first, let's just kind of listen to a little bit of the opening statements from the parties. Here's the defense, starting with their opening. And before we get to this, the opening statement is not a time to argue your case. You can't argue in your opening. But what it is, it's the evidence will show. It's the opportunity for either party to present what they believe that the evidence will show, kind of a roadmap, what you're going to see in the case.
Jeffrey Williams was born into an environment, a community, a society
that was filled with depression, despair, hopelessness, and helplessness.
Okay, so basically he opens with, "You should feel really sorry for Jeffrey Williams." Now, one of the things that the jurors are going to think, if I'm the other side, you point out how many people have grown up in poverty, have grown up in depression, have grown up in adverse circumstances, and haven't engaged in this kind of conduct.
He was born and raised in the Jonesboro South housing projects. That's here in southeast Atlanta. It's a very small 3-bedroom apartment. He lived with his 4 brothers in one of the small bedrooms. His 6 sisters lived in the other small bedroom, and his mother lived in her small bedroom.
So you got 10 kids in 2 bedrooms and a mom.
In the wintertime, it was freezing. In the summertime, it was scorching. Because there was not that much money to go around to pay for utilities. The refrigerator, the cabinets, hardly ever had any healthy food, and sometimes no food at all.
So he's framing up how you should view Mr. Williams. And the problem with that is that being poor does not give you an excuse to commit crimes.
In order to have the appearance of being able to wear different clothing, Jeffrey would share clothing with his brothers and sisters.
But what he's doing, though, is he's humanizing Jeffrey Williams, and that's where you want the jury's mind to go. You know, you want them to think of him as a person, not young thug. You want them to think of him as Jeffrey Williams.
Although the clothing was oftentimes dirty, at least it gave the appearance that he can have a different look from the day before. When Jeffrey would exit into the community, most homes' windows were boarded up. There were burglar bars on every entrance. Litter, which is not uncommon to find shell casings and human blood remains from the shootings that occurred.
Jeffrey Williams is a product of his environment. He didn't have a choice.
And window of the cars are gone. In this environment of severe poverty, severe crime, Jeffrey developed 2 deep, embedded beliefs about our criminal justice system. The first one is that it is not justice. Our criminal justice system was not just, at least for people that he saw. Jeffrey would see over and over again people in the neighborhood who were known to be the liars. These are the people that would lie to their kids, lie to their mothers, lie to their brothers and sisters, and then somehow those people would be used by prosecutors, allowed to come before judges.
Called snitches. But one of the things you'll notice, and this is a good study in doing an argument, no notes. He's got no notes. He's not standing at a podium. He's just talking to them like he's talking to somebody at a kitchen table. Pretty effective, in my opinion. You can get bogged down if you're like me, I was using notes earlier. Yeah. The elements of this are, it's a very effective technique, and it seems like he's speaking more spontaneously than he's from a prepared speech. And so the main objective in an opening statement is two things. One, you want to give the jury a foreshadowing of what they're going to see, but you also want to try to humanize and argue. You do kind of want to argue your case a little bit without arguing your case, but you want to humanize your client and give them a reason to look for an acquittal. And that's what he's doing here pretty effectively.
They would have reduced charges, reduced prison sentences.
Oh, what's he talking about there? He's talking about cooperation, because that's how this whole case is going to be built against Williams and his co-defendants, through snitch testimony. And he's trying to tell you right now, he's grown up with these snitches all along. You can't trust a snitch. That's what he's talking about right here.
Reduced probationary sentences, no charges at all, on their oath that they come in the courtroom to tell the God's honest truth.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, we object because we like snitches.
You have an objection, ma'am?
I have an objection.
What's your basis?
Your Honor, I would rather approach and not speak it out loud in front of the jury. It will take 1 second.
All right.
Thank you.
So that's really common, not necessarily during an opening. I almost never object to an opponent's opening statement. But if you have an argument that you don't want the jury to hear because it's too prejudicial, then you go up to the bench. The prosecution just objected to his opening statement. And I think she did it because she felt like he was arguing his case and basically saying you're going to have witnesses that are going to come up here and you shouldn't believe them. That is, I'm sure, what her objection was. That it's improper argument. And step one, underwear is high performance underwear. They've got these panels right here. They don't chafe. You don't sweat. I've been wearing them since August, was when I started wearing them. Went 8,500 miles on my motorcycle. Didn't have a single issue. And I don't even know if I'm wearing them right now because they are so comfortable. Hang on. Yep, I'm wearing them. Here's what I suggest. I suggest you get at least a half a dozen to a dozen pair. At checkout, you type in Bruce Rivers, as you can see down below. You get a 25% discount. It's a no-risk proposition to you because guess what? You buy these, you don't like them, within 30 days, you get all your money back. But you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that because guess what? You've got a situation in your life where you're going to sweat, where you're going to chafe, but you're not going to do it if you got these. And I don't care if you're playing golf with your grandpa or if you are trying to get your grandmother out of the basement because she's dealing meth. So what you're going to do is you're going to put on your step one. You're going to tackle whatever's in front of you with confidence and comfort because guess what? Step one, get some.
Jeffrey learned that these liars, these snitches, these rats, they would come into the courtroom, take a witness stand to tell the God's honest truth. They were still the same liars. And they would testify against people accused of crime.
So these are the liars from my neighborhood. And these liars from my neighborhood would get up on the stand. These liars would get up on the stand and they would get deals for their lies. And basically he's saying that this case is all going to be built on that. So I'm not going to bore you with the whole opening for both parties, but just a couple of highlights.
Every thug had a different meaning. Now some of you read books about Tupac and what it meant to be thug life. Thug life, the hate you give little infants, X, everyone, meaning discrimination and racism hurts all of us. We teach that to our kids. That was not what thug meant to Jeffrey. Thug meant and means to Jeffrey something very personal. It was his path. But if he could ever make it as a musical artist and helped his family, himself, and his many others out of this endless cycle of hopelessness, he would be truly humble under God. That's what thug means.
Well, truly humble under God. I think that's fantastic. What are we even doing here? You know, one of the things that you're going to find out, when you stretch credulity, when you say things that just are like, come on, we're not buying it. You lose credibility with the jury. But truly humble under God, I suppose one could, argue that, and that it's not what Tupac says. Now let's move to another clip.
YSL, when Jeffrey was coming up and making it, Lil Wayne had and repped, talked about Cash Money Records. That's his label. Jeffrey's friend in Cleveland Avenue, they called themselves YSL. Because on the pants, the tight-fitting pants, the women's pants that they're wearing, it says YSL, Yves Saint Laurent. That's where that comes from.
Do we believe that? I mean, and this is what I'm talking about. So it's truly humble under God and Yves Saint Laurent. It's not thug in the thug sense, and it's not Young Slime Life. Where did that come from? Who monikered that? You're going to find out that there's going to be plenty of testimony that people are going to talk about Thug and YSL. And maybe it is Yves Saint Laurent. It is a coincidence. It's a very popular brand. I'm a fan of Yves Saint Laurent. But where does Young Slime Life come? Where did that originate? Who coined that? That is the more popular belief. But, innocent until proven guilty. We'll see how the evidence comes out. So you're sitting there, you're a suburban housewife, and you're listening to this, and you even have some Young Slime Life clothes, But I guess it was also Young Stoner Life back in the day. So, when you are sitting there and you're arguing about whether your name is Thug, whether your name is Young Slime Life or Yves Saint Laurent, and the whole thing centers around a Rico case, you're in a fucking hole. I mean, you really are in a hole because all the predicate acts that they're going to talk about during this trial are homicide, are drugs, are assaults. These aren't like choir boys. And you're stretching the ability for somebody to think about what they are actually, on trial for. I don't know if Mr. Williams is going to be testifying or not, but it certainly stretches the imagination to say this is just an altruistic, organization without, all they want to do is be humble under God. I mean, who believes that? I don't fucking believe that, do you? Especially when you look at their lyrics. And guess what's coming in? The fucking lyrics. The lyrics to their song are coming in. And they don't say in their lyrics, I'm humble under God as I wear my Yves Saint Laurent. They're not saying that shit. They say some pretty fucking gangster shit.
It's January 16, 2022, and Jeffrey releases this. It's on Jeffrey's Instagram account. And the prosecution is targeting, that's Jeffrey taking a selfie in the mirror, and he has his hand up, and the indictment that the prosecution had the grand jury return says he's holding up a blood sign, and that furthers this conspiracy. There's nothing wrong with holding up a blood sign, but...
So there's nothing wrong with holding up a fucking blood sign when you're in a gang case? You fucking high? What would be a blood sign? I mean, is that a B? I mean, and that's what I'm saying. You got to sound a little bit like you're talking.
That is a P. Jeffrey's fingers are down. And what you'll learn is that Jeffrey just released with Sergio Kitchens, performed on Gunna, a song that is wildly popular. It's around the globe. It's called Pushing P. And it's positivity. It means any circumstance you're in, if you think positively about something, you can make it through.
Who fucking believes that? Pushing positivity. These are choir boys. They're truly humble under God. Yves Saint Laurent, and now we're pushing positivity. Oh, well, what the heck are we even doing here? But I got something for you here. You see, he just mentioned Gunna.
It's about what's T. Now, what's P? I took out a PPP loan for this. Okay.
He took a PPP loan for this. Oh, PPP, pushing PPP.
I'm pushing P. You feel me? Ain't that right, Berto? Yeah. So, you gotta push P. So this is pushing P like when your backyard and in the inside and outside. That's P. You know what I'm saying? You push a P. When you go to renting these things, you kicking P. When you go to owning and cashing out and spending your hard earns, you pushing P. Like you pushing it like P just don't mean player like P almost mean P paper too. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be pushing this P with paper.
Doesn't sound like he's saying it's pushing positivity. Not only is Gunna, closely associated with Young Thug, but he's also closely associated with that song. So if anybody knows what pushing P is, and I don't think I hear him say positivity. All right, what else?
Hold on.
So we're sort of doing this a little bit in reverse. When you have opening statements, the prosecution goes first. We did the defense first because it just seemed a little more interesting. Now we're going to play a little bit of the prosecution's opening so we can see what they have to say.
This is the law of the jungle, as old and as true as the sky. And the wolf that shall keep it may prosper, but the wolf that shall break it must die. As the creeper that girdles the tree trunk, the law running forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient.
Okay, I guess you can see her theme is it all for one and one for all. In other words, this is a gang, this is an organization, this is everybody working together.
Thank you so much for being honest during this very lengthy process.
The selection of this jury, I've never seen anything like it. How the hell this took a year is beyond me. In federal court, this would have taken less than a week.
Proceeded this point here today during the voir dire process. I appreciate you all being here, exercising your civic duty, and honoring your obligation to pay close attention to what's going on in this courtroom for the next several, however many weeks. Some people like to say that opening statements are a roadmap to what the trial will show. Instead, I'm going to give you an overview, a bird's eye view, because you're going to be sitting here with evidence for the next several weeks at least. And you will be able to see what that evidence is. Nothing that I say to you during this part of the trial, and nothing any other attorney says to you during this part of the trial is evidence.
I hear that all the time when, they say, nothing I say is evidence. So don't listen to a fucking thing I say. I don't like that. It's like, why would you you're kind of almost minimizing what you're saying. So, remember I told you that they had a pretrial hearing where the lyrics are coming into evidence.
Jeffrey Williams' words that he promotes through songs with beats behind them, they aren't random. He tells you, as the evidence will show, take this shit to motherfucking trial.
Take this shit to motherfucking trial. First of all, I was in a trial school, and this woman, she was a chief public defender in Spokane, Washington. She's walking around, and she says, "This is my motherfucking courtroom." And she would say it over and over again to get the everybody, and she got everybody riled up. And the whole idea was, take command, and take this motherfucking shit to trial. I like that. I like that a lot. And I like the way she said it. I mean, she says it with some authority. But this is Kendrick and Williams, their song in their own words. And I'll tell you a little bit about the admissibility of this evidence later.
I rep my life for real. For slimes, I kill. Trial, I done beat it twice, Kendricks. I'm undefeated, like feds came and snatched me. I don't know, no point in asking. I was on what? Bleeding. Stuck like a magnet, bitch ass nigga. I shoot at your man and need to stand down. I up my stamina, take it to trial. Get an appeal, take it to trial. Yeah, you're gonna whack 'em. Pay for that casket, that's just if we whack 'em. My young niggas pulling up. Bentleys, Austin Martins, Rares and Teslas strapped with an FN. You're gonna hear a lot about FNs.
So, I don't hear a lot of pushing positivity in that. Do you hear a lot of pushing positivity? Or do you hear, and I hear the slime, the S, but, this is going to be damning. Those lyrics that are coming into this trial are going to be damning. And the reason why they're going to be damning is because there are evidence of statements that he's making to support the notion that everything's for the benefit of YSL. I mean, and one of the lines in there is, I'll kill for my slime. He's not saying I'm killing for my Yves Saint Laurent. She's for my slime. And that's what the S is. Young slime life.
FNs galore. From here to 2015, FNs all throughout the incidents that are involving gang members YSL. Watch me whack that bitch. Pop him like assist. Glock with the assist.
Watch me whack that bitch. Pop it like assist. Glock with the assist. Well, that's pushing something, right? YSL, slimy and shady. When you have that, you're really starting out in a fucking hole. You're starting out in a hole.
First time you know I kill. Bye bye, good night, my dear. Try. Yeah, you can whack 'em. No back and forth. We don't turn wrestle. Pay for the casket, it's just if we whack 'em.
It sounds so much better when he says it, doesn't it? An investigator was testifying today. Let's fast forward today. An investigator was testifying that somebody was throwing up gang signs. And the defense lawyer just fillets him. Let's watch that.
Sir? Your captain. Yes. What you do when you conduct an investigation affects people's lives, right?
Yes.
You arrest people and take their freedom and take them into custody, true?
Yes.
And you are charged with writing reports that reflect the truth so that someone down the road, maybe a prosecutor, can rely on that information and know if to or how to prosecute someone, right?
Yes.
That is extremely important. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
All right. And so when you write your report, and when you were writing reports back in 2013, those things were just as important then as they are today in this courtroom, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you weren't a rookie officer back in 2000.
So one of the things that is really effective, and he's doing a great job here, making that witness, the state's witness, agree with everything you're saying. So remember, cross-examination, you ask pointed questions. Don't give them a whole lot of room to answer. It's either yes or a no, as opposed to direct examination. But watch this.
13. You had been on the force for some 7 years?
Yes.
Okay. And so before coming in here to testify, whether it's today, I don't know, yesterday, last week, whenever, did you have an opportunity to sit down with the prosecutors and talk to them about your testimony and your recollection of the events of 2013? Did you do that?
Yes.
Okay, right. And you still came in here today, and this is the first time, right, that you're mentioning anything about gang signs that you saw when you were brought in here to testify in this, quote, gang case, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just out of curiosity, what was the gang sign?
Hold on, what's the basis for your objection?
Well, with respect to
What's the basis of your objection?
form, first time.
I'm gonna overrule the objection.
Okay.
What the? What's your objection? So when you have an objection, you state it fast. You don't have time to you don't have time to just, stammer like I just did. And so objection, leading, objection, irrelevant, objection, cumulative, objection, argumentative. That's how you don't go.
For first time.
I'm gonna overrule the objection.
She didn't even let her finish her objection because she didn't have one. She just doesn't like it because he's effective. He's fucking with my witness.
Go ahead, Mr. Adams.
Come here. What was the gang sign you saw being thrown up that day?
No idea.
No idea.
What was the gang sign that you said that you... Oh, no idea? Are you fucking kidding me? No idea?
Okay. You know what's the gang sign, right?
Yes.
Okay. You said something a while ago I wanted to touch on real quick. You said that you will, quote, your words now, mentally incorporating the gang sign in describing the person as being the most aggressive. Is that what you said?
I did.
Mentally incorporating it. But you don't know what gang sign we're talking about.
No, sir.
All right. That's all I got.
All right.
How can you say something's a gang sign when you don't know what it was and you don't know what it meant? He just destroyed this officer, this investigator's credibility, especially on that issue. And when you destroy somebody's credibility on one issue, it can destroy them on a number of issues. And it detracts from the message that they're originally trying to impart on the jury. So, and here's the other thing. And this is why this is so concerning in this case. Something that happened yesterday is the camera was panning and it caught one or more of the jurors. And it was really brief, but it was screenshotted. And that was going viral all over the fucking place. Now, here's the problem with that. It was inadvertent, and the news media are covering everything. But the problem with that is all of a sudden, if those guys get any kind of threats or anything, you could wind up tainting this whole jury and then starting all over again. Let's say that happened. And it's no fault of Mr. Williams or any of the other defendants. So what happens if we start all over again? It took a year to get this jury to begin with. I would make a strong argument for his release if that happened. But luckily, I don't think any negative consequences have happened so far. And the judge admonished the people operating the camera, just make sure, I know it was inadvertent, but please make sure that you don't accidentally get another juror on camera. They want to keep the jurors confidential, and they want to keep it confidential because they don't want them influenced, they don't want them threatened, and fucking with this jury is really going to create havoc if we have to start all over again. So that's our reaction to what's gone on so far in the Young Thug YSL case, Jeffrey Williams and his co-defendants. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Patreon, and make sure you subscribe. And, tell your friends. I walked down the street and people. I was walking down the hallway today in the courthouse, and this guy was just singing our theme song. He's like, "Hey, Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer." We love you guys. We really love your support. Spread the word. See you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?